We're close to 20,000 members. Please join the Discord server. Thank you. Today we're going to do a talking type video. I'm going to sit down, talk about some things that are ruining trials, pretty obvious stuff, not so obvious stuff, and things I want to see changed in the future, and stuff that Bungie actually talked about today. Even though it was quite brief, they still talked about it, and I still appreciate it. It's no surprise Trials of Osiris right now is at an all-time low. We're seeing under 200,000 players. According to some people, it's the first time ever in a really long time. This means the games won't be as fun. You'll be matching the same players a lot, and also a lot of the higher tier players that are using the overpowered stuff. The main outlier that Bungie again actually mentioned today is Invis Hunter. This is ruining not only Trials of Osiris, but the Crucible entirely. The last subclass that really plagued the Crucible, in my opinion, was Stasis, and this was a very long time ago, a year, 2 years ago, whatever it may be. Either way, that was the last genuinely overpowered subclass we had where I felt like you had to use it to do the best. And now we're kind of in the similar situation with Void 3.0, specifically on Hunter, but yes, Titans are very strong as well, mainly the bubble and of course Overshield. But I don't want to sit here and say Titans are the most broken class ever, because I know there are going to be Hunter mains out there that try to debate this, but Hunter Void 3.0 is the most broken subclass in the game currently. It is the easiest subclass to play in the game currently, and something needs to change. For those of you who don't believe that Void 3.0 is extremely strong, here are the subclasses and also what type of exotic pieces people are using for the really good players, the players that have about a 90% win rate in trials. I know this isn't the entire population, but this is still really important information. The amount of people playing Invis and Void Bubble Titan is quite staggering, and it's for good reason. It's so damn obnoxious to play against, and if you can't beat them, you gotta join them. We have a problem in Destiny where if something's really strong, it typically doesn't get nerfed for quite some time. And if you mix that with the fact that there's not much going on towards the end of the season, the players are going to start leaving, at least for the time being. I actually don't find this meta bad whatsoever. Like, the guns, in terms of the Sandbox, is not too bad. It's just abilities right now for the most part. And yeah, there's Arbalest and Lorentz Driver, but those are like a few outliers. And yeah, while I do think Forerunner is extremely strong, I wouldn't put it in that same category as Lorentz and Arbalest, considering those are basically heavy weapons. Pulse rifles, hand cannons, auto rifles are kind of questionable, but still okay. Everything seems quite usable, and I can't really complain too much. I know there are going to be those people that are calling me an idiot because the Sandbox might not seem like it's too balanced for them, dying to sidearms and linear fusions like I mentioned, but let's be real here. The reason why those are extremely strong is because it's very easy to catch people off guard in the Crucible. Why? Ding ding ding, yes, you got it. Invis. If you remove Invis, or at least destroy it in the Crucible, not only will sidearms slowly die down just a little bit, they'll still be really good, don't get me wrong. Like, I still love using sidearms, but catching people off guard with a sidearm or a fusion rifle, linear fusion rifle, is a lot more deadly in my opinion. And that goes for any weapon, even a shotgun or a submachine gun, doesn't really matter. One more thing to mention, I thought that was kind of funny, is Stompies actually aren't the most popular exotic among the top tier players right now. Again, quote unquote top tier, these are the best players in trials currently. Khepri Sting is the most popular exotic amongst these players. Khepri Sting, it's cheesy, very good, and of course it's for Void Hunter. Every single exotic for Hunter in this list is meant for Void Hunter besides Stompies. Listen, every season gets dry, it's just how the game is, and it's how a lot of video games are. Towards the last month or so, there's not much to do, and if the Sandbox isn't too fun to play, you're gonna lose a lot of players very quickly. That's really obvious. To get Sandbox updates, or even at least updates from Bungie, whether it be in the TWAB or whatever it may be, like today for example, we did get a small brief discussion about Invis and Titan bubbles and just supers in general, which was nice, but I wish maybe we got some specifics here and there, because if they're not giving us anything specific, it kind of tells us that they're not entirely sure what to do yet, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't know everything, I don't claim to, I'm just giving my opinion. Now, I don't think it would hurt to brainstorm a couple of things that they could change, maybe maybe, I guess, my take on how I would nerf Hunter and Void Titan. First things first, I'd probably get rid of the radar. Make it to where they can't see anyone on the radar, and you could leave it just at that, and that would be kind of okay. If you decide to go invis, you will no longer be able to obtain any knowledge on where the other players are, at least on your own. This still leaves the problem where if you're invis, it's very hard to be seen, and every time I do, there's always a few instances where I legit can't really see them right away. I know you're gonna call me a boomer or a grandpa, whatever you want to call me. There's gonna be those people that say that they could always see them, but let's be real. Whether you're facing the sun, playing on distant shore, or whatever it may be, it's very, very hard to see invis players sometimes. So maybe they could readjust the way the cloak looks. Of course, this would not change PvE whatsoever. Maybe you'll lose the radar in PvE, maybe you won't. This is specific PvP changes while not ruining it for PvE players. Another good fix is make it to where if you're invis, you're not completely off the radar for those long periods of time. Right now, if you go invis and you walk or stay crouched, you're off the radar for a lot of seconds at a time. We're talking like 3 to 6 seconds. I'm not entirely sure what the exact number is, but you will not pulse on the radar for a while, which is a problem. So if people don't want to lose their radars while going invis, maybe another solution would be that every time you go invis, it's like you're crouched on the radar. So you'll ping every like half second or second, and not every 6 seconds. Yes, quite a big nerf, but invis would still be very, very lethal, and maybe that would fix a good problem. Maybe it'd still be really strong. I still think even with that huge nerf, it would still be used quite a bit. There's a lot of angles you could approach this, but those are two main things I think. People completely disappearing off the radar is a problem, and having a lot of knowledge while being very, very hard to see, while being off the radar, of course, is kind of a problem. Now, for the Titan players, I don't want to get into bubble specifically because it's pretty obvious what needs to happen. Just increase the time on it to where you can't get it right away in a trials match. Once you do that, you don't even need to really nerf the super or anything. The super's not overpowered. It's just very useful. It does what it's supposed to do. It defends a certain area. So the only other thing I'd really nerf on Void Titan is the overshield. I don't know why it can recharge if you sit back right behind it. And I also don't know why everyone on your team should get a Void overshield. Either let it recharge or give everyone an overshield and that's it. I don't know why it has both of them. It's very obnoxious to play against, but again, I don't want to nerf Void Titans to the ground because the main problem I have with it is getting bubble very quickly in trials. That's the main issue I think everyone would agree with. This isn't a complaining video or anything. I'm not saying I absolutely hate the game, but I really don't like trials right now, and this is the main reason, and I can honestly say very confidently this is why a lot of people aren't playing trials. As someone who plays Destiny for a living, of course my opinions are going to be a lot different than other people's. I play this game every single day. I'm going to get burnt out a lot quicker than others, but still, even for those who play for fun, are not really playing anymore. At least aren't playing for fun anymore. They're playing the meta. They're putting on all the boring stuff because they have to. I, for one, am not going to be one of those guys. I'm not going to bother putting it on. Instead, I'm just not going to play trials, and that's why I haven't been streaming that much, because the Sandbox just isn't too fun at the moment. At least the abilities in the Sandbox. If you guys have any ideas that I missed or anything I should have mentioned, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, I could have talked about Arbalest and Lorentz Driver a little bit more, but the main issue I have right now is Invis. Like I said, I don't know if I made that really clear. I probably did. Thank you guys again for watching, and like always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.